I'm Caius Tenchi, Director of the Toronto Motorcycle Film Festival, and today we're introducing the second member of the 2018 TMFF judging panel. The panel is made up of 5 individuals from the motorcycle industry, community, and media, and together they're going to select the winning films for the various award categories: Best Canadian Film, Best Feature Film, and Best Short Film. On that note, let me introduce you to the second member of our judging panel, Lawrence Hacking. Welcome, Lawrence.
Thank you very much, Caius. Happy to be here, of course. It's quite an honor to be selected as one of the judging panel.
The honor is totally ours, believe me. So let me start with a little bit of an introduction. In prepping for this chat, I looked over your history, and it is quite long. I think it would fill up this entire Q&A.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go over just some of the big highlights.
Okay.
You started racing at 16.
Yes.
And you raced both motorcycles as well as cars.
It turned into 4 wheels, yes.
Yeah. And some of the big ticket races that you've been involved with include Dakar in 2001.
The Dakar Rally,
Yeah, where you were the first Canadian to finish that race.
That's right.
That's incredible.
Yeah, thanks.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You've also competed in a number of races around the world, including the Baja 1000 a number of times, Rally Mongolia, Targa Newfoundland, Mexican 1000, and various other prestigious rallies in Japan, Sweden, Australia, and so on.
Yes.
You also authored a book.
Yeah, I have a book out
To the Car and Back,
Yeah.
which documents your experience
Yes.
at the 2001 Dakar Rally.
Yeah.
So whether you're on motorcycles or cars, your life since 16 years old seems to be highly focused on racing and adventure.
Exactly, yeah. I don't want to make any excuses, but I've always followed my dreams, and it's been pretty good so far. I'm very, very grateful and full of gratitude for what motorcycling and racing has brought to my life, yes.
Where did this passion come from? Do you have like racing in your family history?
No, not so much. You know, it's an interesting story. I don't know where it came from. It was, I think about that a lot these days, because I often wonder why I spent so much time, energy, and money to try to do these things when I could have done other things. No complaints whatsoever. I mean, I never really made a whole bunch of money in my life, but I got to do all sorts of things that I would have spent money doing had I been wealthy.
Right.
So the end result was I just had an interest in doing exciting different things and leading an interesting life, which is, some people say, a burden, but it is a lot of work. I mean, it doesn't come easy for sure. It is just nonstop. Working towards, setting goals, setting your eye on a prize or not a prize, but necessarily an event you want to do, and just working towards it. It's been a full-time job since, I don't even know when. This is my 51st year of riding motorcycles.
Is that right?
More than half a century.
That's incredible. I mean, I don't know everyone in the Canadian motorsport world, but I can't honestly think of anyone, at least that I know of for sure, that has competed in more races, both motorcycles and cars, globally than you have. It's amazing, Lawrence.
It's a pretty varied career that I have had, yeah, for sure. I don't know of anyone else. I know some guys. I'm writing a story right now of a friend of mine in Manitoba who's been racing since 1968. Kim Hood, he was a Canadian motocross champion in '79. We used to race together, and I'm just finishing the story now on him.
Okay.
And that's longer. Like that's a long time. He's been going a long time, but he's raced motocross and flat track.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is I've done a lot of different things. I've even road raced with people, like Tony and Kathleen and people like that, and all types of racing and mostly off-road, but sometimes on-road.
And so you had mentioned that you didn't make a lot of money during your career in motorsport. So you probably know the saying, which is, how do you make $1 million in motorsport? Sure. You start with 2.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. I've been fortunate, and as I'm getting older, and but still interesting projects come my way, and it's a lot to do with who you are as a person,
Right.
and how you conduct yourself, rather than your potential to win or things like that. So I've worked the angle of being a motorcycle journalist since 2001. I've called that my job. It's been a part-time job, and that has opened up a lot of doors as well. And then you pick and choose. It's a bit of creating some brand equity in yourself. If I can offer some advice to the younger people, which I often do. But there's no real template that I followed. I don't know anyone else who took, did the same thing I did. A Canadian guy. I've never really raced at a high level. For championships like my friend Steve Crevier or someone like that, where they or all the motocross guys take huge risks. I've never really had to do that, so I'm in relatively good condition physically, and I can still ride a motorcycle and still enjoy it. But the social side to me is 75-85% of the fun. So I still really like the sensation of riding, but the social side is everything. That's why I'm happy to be a part of the film festival, because I think it's social, right? So
for sure, I think the template is to follow your passion, but then it requires an awful lot of work to execute, to achieve your dreams, and that requires passion and a lot of heart.
Yeah,
and I think that's the model that we can all follow.
Yeah, I think that's true. That's quite positive. I mean, I just like what I do. I got up every day feeling charged up about what I get to do every day, it's enjoyable. It's fun. It's my whole world, right?
Me too. That's why I'm very passionate about the Motorcycle Film Festival. An absolute love of it. I'm grateful for all the people that I got to meet because of it.
Sure.
And I can't think of anything more fun right now for me.
Well, I have to say, I'm a big motorcycle film guy, and some of the pivotal films in my career, let's call it my career, my life, were motorcycle films. And back in the 70s, Easy Rider, there's a movie called Little Foss and Big Halsey, which is, a really interesting film. It's with one of the films that Robert Redford did. And if you search Little Foss and Big Halsey, it really kind of laid out exactly my career path. It's just two guys who raced motorcycles with an old pickup truck, and it's a really funny movie. And
I don't know it, so I'll definitely look it up.
It's a really good movie. I had the DVD, and also of course On Any Sunday and movies like that, which are really highly influential in motorcycling.
Sure. You produce a number of events in
Yes.
Southern Ontario. Can you tell us a little bit about what those are and how they came about and what's in store for this year?
Yeah, we do a couple of different events. I've been doing the Overland Adventure Rally now. This will be the 6th year, and we're moving locations. And we find out actually news today about that. And then I do the Grand Prix de Mud and the Grand Prix de Snow. And the way that came about was pretty simple. Back in 03-04, we decided to do the World Enduro Championships in Parry Sound, which Enduro is my big thing. And we put it together where in 2006 and 2007, the World Enduro Championships came to outside of Europe for the first time ever. And they were both very successful, and that set kind of the model in place to do Canadian Enduro Championships, Canadian Cross Country Championships, and get involved in trials. And since we did those, I'm still involved kind of in the background with those off-road series, but I decided to go out on my own and do something to address the adventure rider market. So I say our thing is the Overland Adventure Rally celebrates the adventure rider lifestyle, which is who I am. I've kind of evolved into an adventure rider guy, and the traveling and riding rallies, but more adventure travel. And so that's what I did. And then the Grand Prix de Mud, Grand Prix de Snow are very informal, fun, grassroots. Come and have fun. There's no rules. You don't have to have fancy gear on. It's not serious. We make our own trophies and a whole bunch of really
Which I'm sorry I missed this year, but I heard that it was incredible fun.
The Grand Prix de Snow was in February, and it's second year, and Husqvarna Canada's involved. They brought out a fleet of motorcycles. Town Moto's involved in a big way, and Dual Sport Plus, and they all were there. We estimate between 400 and 500 people came out during the day. It was a huge success. Everybody had a great time. It was just really informal, fun riding, and just it's kind of. It addresses, I think, a new style of motorcyclist. It's much more relaxed and much cooler, and the fashion side of it and the image side of it is a kind of a thing that's changed. It's not serious racing, and we actually discourage serious racers from coming. Please don't come and try too hard to win these cheap plastic trophies or anything. Right? So, well, we have a ton of really good, really nice prizes donated by all sorts of sponsors, and it really turned out well. It's very satisfying to do because it's really.
I bet. Yeah,
we entertain a lot of
sure.
people, and
Definitely.
everybody has a great time, and there's a huge influx of social media videos and things like that, and everybody's happy. So.
Great. Do you have any big races or rallies planned for the near future?
I work on that all the time. Yeah, we've got this year we're doing a thing called the Ottawa Valley Rally in May, with a bunch of guys that I rode with in Baja back in February. And then this year, the events that I'm going to go in personally are coming up later on. In August, we go to Alaska Yukon with the Dual Sport Plus Spirit of Adventure ride.
Alaska Yukon, wow.
Yeah. So we have 18 people signed up for that. And then right after that, I'm going to Japan to ride the 2-day enduro that I've gone to already once a couple of years ago, and then following that, the Rally du Maroc in Morocco in October, and that's it.
All of that for this year.
That's enough.
You've got a busy plan.
Well, yeah, that's down the road. So
Amazing.
I try not to be too busy during the summer. Once the Overland Adventure Rally is over in early July, then I take it easy and just enjoy the beautiful Southern Ontario weather and not travel too far.
Okay. I'm going to jump back to the film festival a little bit from last year and to Dakar.
Yeah.
So last year we had a film, Dream Racer, that we screened at the festival, and it featured the struggles of a Dakar privateer.
Yeah.
It showed his struggle trying to raise funds before the race, and then the day-to-day challenges of running and maintaining and pushing yourself beyond the limits in order to complete the race. A huge monumental task, even on a team, even bigger as a privateer. I imagine that you were able to relate to that film based on your experience in 2001. Yeah,
for sure. That whole that film is one of the reasons why I went to the film festival last year, is just to see that, because I'd heard so much about it. And it really is a good, accurate portrayal of what it's like to go to the Dakar. And I thought it was just really well done, a really beautiful movie, and calling in favors and the stress of not knowing if you're going to have the money, and training and organizing things, and things going wrong, and things falling apart and all that stuff, and disappointments and so it was a really, really good movie, and it is I went through all of that. The same,
I bet.
Same kind of thing.
And then in 2010, you went back to do the Dakar again.
In my truck, off-road race.
Unfortunately, did not finish.
Yeah.
So Christoph is trying to do the same.
Oh, good.
To go back and race Dakar again, but on 4 wheels.
Well, tell him to give me a call.
I was going to say, do you have any words of advice for Christoph?
Yeah.
Besides, don't do it.
Honestly, since 2010, it was a really, I would really like to go back and finish in a car. And I've always been working on that. I've been doing a lot of different things, but that's one of the projects where you just work on one thing. So, I went there with virtually no money. I pushed it. I say I was all in on that thing. I was just paid off my credit card just recently from that thing. It was
really?
Oh yeah, I spent a lot of money, and it's hard to raise enough money to do it properly.
Yeah.
But it's no regrets. I mean, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yep.
And I knew that I had very little chance of finishing. But it was a great experience. I had a great time. I followed the Dakar and made good friends and learned a lot and saw that part of the world. So, I always look at the positive side of things. There's always a good side to everything. And,
there is.
I'm looking to go back to the Rally du Maroc in that same truck. I've been working on that, and then hopefully use that as a springboard into getting back to the Dakar in a car.
Okay.
And,
do you have a timeline in mind?
As soon as possible, because I'm not getting any younger. But that's one of my goals, is to continue doing these things. And I think it's possible. And so we're working always at that. I'm always thinking about that stuff, how to do it, what
I'm
to do
sure.
it. And it's a huge amount of money, and I'm just not prepared to go into huge debt to do it, so that's not prudent.
Yeah.
So I thought, I always work on, making contacts and projecting myself as the guy who can do this kind of thing, and it's taking little baby steps towards
Exactly.
the end goal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect. So now that you're going to be attending the film festival as a judge,
Yes.
perhaps looking at things with a different lens,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Is there anything in particular that you think you're going to be looking for towards the films that we're going to screen this year?
Well, yeah, I'm a huge fan of motorcycle films and motorcycle media in general. I mean, I read magazines and still do my whole life. That's what built my passion for the sport, is reading about what other people are doing, getting ideas from magazines and films. So as far as the films go, I mean, I look at what inspires people, I think, to live their dreams, like the Dream Racer movie, and good quality filming, good quality editing and cinematography. Now with what's available to the average person with drones and all the different types of cameras, I mean, I think, there's some very, very talented people that now have the ability to produce great films and express themselves with their creativity on video or film. So I think that, it's going to be competitive. I think there's going to be a lot of good films, because there are a lot of good videos out there. So I just look at what entertains people the most and inspires people the most.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
For your time. I really appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to working with you on the festival, and I can't wait to hear your opinions on the movies. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll be introducing the other members of our judging panel over the course of the next month. So follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and tune in for our future podcast where we'll chat with them. If you have a question for Lawrence, post it in the comments below and we'll get his response.